Failure is not an option.
I've had my ups and my downs.
Phelps with 10 meters left. 3 minutes too good. The crowd roaring. Freeman wins gold.
I think it's an absolutely breakthrough experience.
Welcome to the Physical Performance Show, the show designed to inspire the pursuit of your physical best performance. I'm your host, Brad Beer. Listen in as we delve into how the world's top physical performers achieve their success, as well as the highs, the lows, and the journey of getting there. Let's get ready, set, let's go. Welcome to another episode of the Physical Performance Show. Could you imagine doing pull-ups for 24 hours? Big challenge, isn't it? Could you imagine doing 7,620 pull-ups across 24 hours? Well, today's guest, Caine Eckstein, return guest of the program, is sitting in the hot seat, and I'm going to ask him, how do you get 7,620 pull-ups done in 24 hours, and how are the arms going after that? So it's going to be a bit of a fun episode, guys. We're revisiting this incredible human feat, really, and also world record from Caine Eckstein. Also, guys, I want to thank everyone for dropping reviews over in iTunes. They're coming through thick and fast, and I'm highly appreciative of that. What reviews and ratings do, guys, through iTunes is just helps the show become more visible so other people like yourself can enjoy the program and really appreciate it. So this week we had a review coming through from Miffle. Miffle says, always inspired by the athletes when they compete. Now you get a behind the scenes of how it all comes together. Keep the runners coming. Miffle, thanks so much for leaving your 5-star review. Good news is there are more runners on the program scheduled, so you have to stay tuned, including a variation of running. Next week's guest, an Olympian who, just like some of our previous guests, Genevieve Lacaze, Ryan Gregson, Jess Trengrove, and also obviously Eloise Wellings there in recent weeks, had some incredible times and performances in Rio. So you'll hear who that is coming up, Miffle, at the end of this show. So guys, let's jump straight in. Caine Eckstein talking about how you knock out 7,620 pull-ups out in 24 hours. Catching up today with Caine Eckstein. Caine's been a former guest on the Physical Performance Show in episode 8, where we spoke about Caine's Ironman career, the multiple successes in that endeavour, and then it was on the eve of Caine's 24-hour world pull-up record, which was to be set or to be taken on at Northcliffe Surf Club here on the Gold Coast. And I thought it'd be great to catch up with Caine just to do a bit of a post-mortem on the what was a successful world pull-up record attempt. So, Caine, thanks for popping back in, mate.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
So, mate, how are the biceps?
Yeah, no, honestly, I've not done one pull-up since the record, which has been good. So I haven't done any gym really at all. So I actually did the world titles in Netherlands maybe 3 months after the pull-up record, and I went really well over there. And I think it was just from not doing gym work, doing all that sort of pull-ups and gym, then doing the record, and then just sort of focusing on cardio, and then just going really well over there. So yeah, the biceps and the lats and the back, everything's feeling pretty fresh.
So let's do it. Jump in on the world pull-ups, but before that, congratulations, because it was a successful World Surf Lifesaving Championships outing for you with a couple of golds. The gold in the board rescue with your brother, Caine Eckstein. A gold in the Taplin with Northcliffe Surf Club. Second in the Ironman, and second in the
surf race.
So, mate, yeah, fantastic. Congratulations. What was it like picking up that gold with your brother? I believe that's the first time you guys had paired up in the board rescue.
Yeah, it was pretty good. We didn't really... we hadn't thought about it, that we actually hadn't done board rescue together before, because I've done it a few times with different sort of people, but we haven't really done it at the Australian titles because you do so many events. But yeah, it was really a no-brainer doing it together, because at Northcliffe Surf Club we're both training together every afternoon and we're both going really well. So yeah, once we got on the board together, it was actually our 4th time on the board. In the semi-final, we did 2 practice runs back at Northcliffe in training together, and then we did the semi-final and the final. You could actually have 2 other people do the heats for us. So we subbed in for the semi, then just did the semi and the final. And then, it was dead flat conditions. So we're going to, we hoped that we were going to go pretty well. And we ended up winning it, which was awesome.
And what did you say at the end?
Yeah, we don't really, we don't really sort of celebrate too much after different sort of wins, but I know it was pretty special for him as well, because my mum and my aunties and stuff were there, so it was pretty good. And it was the first day, so the end of the first day, and it was actually about, I think it was like 7:45 p.m. in the sort of night time. It was just sunny all day pretty much, so it was a really, really long day. Then we finished off that first day with a gold, and then it sort of just kicked off the world titles for the next 3 days, and pretty much every day we ended up on the podium together getting medals, so it was good.
So I had to get them home to extra baggage.
Yeah, we actually they're up on the wall. They're actually pretty nice medals, for the Netherlands on it and the world titles and stuff, so they're pretty good. So yeah, they're actually up on the wall at home.
Well, mate, congratulations. And obviously leading into that was the 16th of July at the Surf Club, Northcliffe, with some media coverage. Sunrise, I think it was Sunrise, was doing live crosses, or
the Today
Show, sorry. Yeah. Rival station. Yeah. The Today Show was zooming in. Mate, in preparation for that, you shared, when we caught up earlier in the year, pre the world record attempt, you shared your training. You were getting in a couple of thousand on some days of pull-ups. And so obviously you tapered well, you were fit and ready to go. How did it unfold on the day? You started at what time?
Yeah, I started around 7:45, I think. I think that was because I did the previous world record in New York, and I think it was about the same, about 7:50, 7:45 in the morning, which is a good time to sort of start, because obviously you're finishing that time the next morning. So that was good. It's not too early, not too late. But obviously I knew if I didn't get it, then I couldn't get it, basically, because I just did so many pull-ups leading up to it. As you said, I sort of tried to do 1,500 a day, and I pretty much did that for about 4 weeks straight, maybe having sort of Saturday or Sunday off, one day off in the week, and did 1,500 a day, and tried to ride 2 or 3 hours in the day as well. So that was basically what I was doing every day, sort of getting up at 6 and going for a 2 or 3 hour ride, then straight from the ride jumping on the pull-up bar, and then doing that for 2.5, 3 hours or whatever it took to do the 1,500. Then that was my day. Yeah.
Wow, mate. And so and as you got into it, you were doing 6 pull-ups per minute. That was the plan right through. Talk us through the first 6 hours, so breaking it into quarters. How'd that first quarter feel?
Yeah, it felt pretty good, but I think it was 4 weeks or 3 weeks before the record, I did 6 pull-ups a minute for 12 hours, which is 4,320. And I felt really, really good with that. And I woke up the next morning feeling really good. So that was sort of in the back of my mind. I sort of go into things, not so, a little bit calmer, just knowing, okay, I got the first 12 hours down. I know what I'm going to feel like after that 12 hours. And on the night, that was a breeze pretty much. I remember everyone coming in, all my family booked a big table for dinner, and all the guys were pretty much like drinking beers and stuff. And I just remember it being sort of 8 o'clock, and I think I did a cross with the project, and it was just, it was easy then. Like the first 12 hours flew by, but it was pretty much from maybe 16 hours onwards, it was just a different story. It was really, really hard, but I did the 6 pull-ups a minute for 18 hours, and then I started to work out what I had to do. I dropped down to 5 pull-ups a minute for maybe 4 hours after that, and then I think the last hour or an hour and a half I did 4 pull-ups a minute, because I sort of knew what I had to do to get to the record.
Yeah, when you did the cross to the project, because you were pretty disciplined, or very disciplined, around getting up on that bar on the minute. I was there and seeing, for a few hours of it, seeing you, run to the bathroom and back. There was no like, I've got a couple of thousand in the tank there, I'll just, take my time. Did you, with the project cross, did you keep it on the minute with that, or did you take a couple of minutes out for that?
No, actually, once I was talking to them and they were live, I had to stop and do 6 pull-ups, and they made a bit of a joke out of it. They were like, oh, he's actually, not stopping. He keeps going. And they were 1, 2, counting the pull-ups I did, in the audience and stuff. So that was good. But it was really, really hard, as you said, because the Northcliffe was packed. It was just, there was so many people, and it was so loud, and I actually couldn't hear the project at all. Like, I had no idea what they were saying to me, because you got the little earpiece in, you're trying to do your 6 pull-ups, and, you got 40 seconds break. It was really, really hard. But so once that was finished, it was really good. And it got to about 9:30, and everyone sort of started to go home, and then all my sort of guys stayed, and then we could just sort of get on with business. And it was like a bit of a relief once everyone sort of left.
So was that? I mean, would have been great to have the support, and there was a real buzz in the place. I mean, this is cool, but it was kind of like a bit of a breathe easy because things calmed down a little bit, and you could get really tunnel focused.
Yeah, like as you said, it's there's still a little bit of a stress just because there's so much going on around you, and like it started to get it's sort of hard after that 12 hours, so you're just trying to relax in your rest. But when you got so many people around and there's so much noise, and I like doing photos with everyone, but in the rest you're doing a lot of photos with people and stuff like that, so you can't really suck in the rest that you're getting. Yep. So it's once everyone sort of left, and as well you got families and stuff, so you couldn't really play the music and everything, so it's a little bit harder. And then everyone left, and you can turn it into a bit of it's had that sort of nightclub feel going on.
The music is in dropping like some of your favourite tunes.
Yeah, basically, and they're not really kid tunes. So it was good.
So cool. And mate, at what point through the night, I believe there was a sudden realisation that the Guinness World Record people had updated the record overnight, and that your tech team, who was sort of streaming and also doing the some of the social stuff from my knowledge, found that the record had increased by 500 pull-ups, and it had been updated live while you were doing the world record attempt. Is that right?
Yeah, so when I started the record, I think it was 6,800 flat, which if it was 6,800, then it would have been it wouldn't have been easy, but it would have been a lot easier than the change. I think it got changed to 7,320 or something like that. Wow. And the live feed, I had a whole crew doing the live feed online, and it was just a really coincidence that one of those guys just asked my friend who was sort of supporting me. He just said, so how do they set it up online with the record in the Guinness website and stuff? And then my mate Daniel sort of said, they just do it like this, and he just showed him, and he was like, the record's changed like from this morning. And then they had like the whole little debrief. I didn't really know this, if they were going to tell me or not, and stuff like that, but they ended up telling me. And it was pretty lucky because it was probably 11, 12 hours in, and I was actually on maybe a little bit more, actually. It might have been 13, 14, but I was on a really, really good patch. Everyone sort of, I think, had left at that point. We put the music on, and I started to get pretty confident, and they sort of told me, and I just took it as a bit of motivation to keep going. If Guinness I thought they sort of maybe did it on purpose to try and sort of like
hello Guinness World Book of Record, World Book of Records.
Yeah, because I think that guy had done it maybe 2 months before, so it took that long, and then in the 24-hour gap that I was doing the record, they updated it. So if I didn't see that, I could have stopped at 7,000. It's a pretty good number. If the record's 6,800, and I wouldn't have got the record because it was 7,300. So it was lucky that they definitely saw it. Otherwise, I probably would have stopped at 7,000.
What's the guy's story that did up set that world record? What was it, 6,800? What was his story out of the US? I think from memory. Or?
Yeah, no, the 6,800 guy was from Czechoslovakia. So he was just a rock climber, I think, ex-rock climber. But then the US guy who did the 7,300, he's right into the American Ninja Warrior stuff, as a lot of the Americans are. So I think they're from like the rock climbing sort of base. But he was. I think he goes on the show and does that American Ninja Warrior. So they're pretty good, and it's really suited to pull-ups. So obviously America's pretty popular, and the pull-ups are popular over there. But so it was good because he was a legitimate guy to beat. So it was good to get the record for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And mate, at what point? I mean, you said it the last hour you dropped down to 4 a minute, and then for a couple of hours, from 18 hours onwards, you dropped down to 5 a minute. What point did you start feeling fatigue?
Yeah, it was probably just before the 18 hours. I think I knew if I got to 8, I like to hit things clean sort of thing. So I sort of had that 18 hours, and I'll drop to this, and it was sort of in front of where I sort of had to go. And so I think just before the 18 hours, I started to really feel it was fatigue, but it was just, emptiness. So it felt completely empty. And I think it was just, obviously you're getting 40 seconds break for 24 hours doing pull-ups. You just can't eat and you can't get in sort of the energy that you're probably, your body's expelling. So yeah, I was just completely drained. And definitely once I hit sort of 20 hours, I was gone. Like I was pretty much, I couldn't speak or anything. So I was in a, like absolutely the worst possible way you could be in. I think I was like the borderline of passing out.
Delirious.
Yeah, I was definitely, it was pretty, and I just, I was ready to go, like for sure. But I could sort of see everyone around me sort of worrying as well, and I could sort of see apparently Daniel, who was sort of one of my main helpers, he was walking all the way over to the other surf club to talk to people and stuff. So like I couldn't hear, and I could sort of see that going on. Like I didn't know why he wasn't talking near me, but apparently they were talking about going to get a drip and going to the hospital, and then he called the ambulance over there and stuff. So like there was a lot of stuff going on that they were pretty worried about me. And then I sort of saw Mum, sneak out the back to go to the hospital to get a drip to bring it back and everything. So yeah, a lot of those guys there, they were trying to do stuff without me sort of knowing, but I could see things going on.
Because you had a big team around helping. I know one of your close friends, Jared Taddy, on the counter, and his job was to make sure he gave you the second count to get back up on the bar, wasn't he? It
was pretty it was pretty hard to sort of just keep up with stuff. As I said, like I was basically gone. I think I was just so hot and just fatigued. So yeah, obviously you just, and then I had so much work getting done to my body, my muscles, as you said, by you, and so it was just and I started to get really tired as well. Like my eyes were sort of closing. So yeah, it was good, really, really good. I probably had 20 guys there the whole time, sort of cheering me on and helping me out.
But at no point did you? I mean, we've spoken about this away from this interview setting, but I just recently, not running at the moment, just grabbed the pull-up bar and we stuck it up outside my house, and nowhere near your record, not even trying to get near that, mate. But cumulatively trying to do 50 to 60 a day at the moment, and. I'll do a couple of sets of 12 and then drop down to 10 or an 8 or 6 or whatever. But there gets a point where I literally cannot, the stretch shorten cycle just doesn't propel me up, to the next rep, and I can't go any further. What amazed me is you didn't seem to have that point of failure of contraction at any point. You were just gone in, your hydration, your nutrition. It was just, you're down to your last bit of glucose in your body, your glycogen. Did you feel that at any point? Like, what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's that point of failure. You just can't lift.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, as I said, I've done pull-ups so much, and I sort of know what it takes to do, the 6 pull-ups or whatever it is. And yeah, as I walk up to the bar, I sort of, just take, probably 10 seconds or 5 seconds just to myself, just to sort of put together what I'm about to do, sort of thing. So I just get myself ready. Each time. Yeah, pretty much each time. Wow. Yeah, I just sort of hold the bar and sort of just think about it, and then I just do it. So like I sort of know before I do it that I can do it pretty much, just so I know what it sort of takes to do. And yeah, so as I said, I'd sit down and I'd rest and I'd be just completely exhausted. But then when I saw the clock get to like 52 or whatever, then I'd step up and I'd sort of just get into that little just thinking about it phase, and I'd just think about it and just sort of like do it in my head before I do it. So, and then you're doing it, it's not sneaking up on you. You sort of know you can do it already. Wow. Basically. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try that, mate. See if I can notch up a few at home. Caine, hands. I got pretty enthusiastic just 10 days ago, and I got my bar up there at home and on the wall, and my hands were just getting flogged. Now, admittedly, I'm a physio, and my hands are bathed in cream most of the time through a day, so they're probably pretty soft hands. But mate, how did you get through what was in the end 7,620 pull-ups? How did your hands pull up? I know on the night or through the 24 hours you were using the sponges, points that I saw. How did they pull up, and were they limiting you in any way?
Yeah, no, I think the sponges worked as well. Yeah, obviously, I don't know if you can ever do 7,620 pull-ups with your body weight on something and have it not hurt or not sort of give you blisters. So I think the sponges worked as well as anything could. But I thought my nail was going to come off, and it's sort of still healing a little bit now. It's sort of just working its way. It's sort of growing out. But it was basically the whole way off. So that's just getting better. But yeah, basically it's a lot better than what sort of I did when I was in New York. I just pretty much taped my hands up and went. So yeah, the sponges worked well, but I started, because you use sort of the spring out of the sponges pretty quickly. So once I got to sort of 14 hours or so, the sponges definitely lost their sponginess basically. So it was pretty sort of harder as the time went on, but as you said, you sort of got that goal in the end, so you can sort of get there. But yeah, the hands definitely hurt and everything got sore, and yeah, it was basically the whole body sort of shut down, but that's what comes with it.
Because you said something to me interesting in the lead up to it. You said if your hands are good, you feel confident on the bar.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, well, obviously your hands are what's connecting, your weight to the bar. So yeah, if your hands are feeling good, you can sort of be more aggressive. So yeah, once your hands, you get injuries or you get blisters and stuff like that, you sort of, it's like the pain sort of holding you from lifting yourself up. So you're doing it slowly. I definitely know, if you're doing 6 reps with good hands, you could probably do the 6 reps in 4 seconds, but if you got 6 reps with really sore hands, it'll probably take 5.5 seconds. So it's just that little bit more weight, and then obviously it's taking longer, so it's harder. So yeah, definitely if you keep your hands nice, and I had ice buckets there and everything, so I was putting my hands pretty much every rest by the end in the ice, and just getting sort of the swelling down and everything like that.
When did they start to get sore though? How many hours in?
It's probably the same, maybe 16 hours in or so. Yeah, and as the sponges started to, definitely wear down and just sort of lose their sponginess and spring, and just they didn't feel as good. I was sort of going through sponges trying to find the good ones, and because I probably had sort of 12 sets of sponges there to swap over, and then they started all there was no good ones by sort of 16 hours or so. So yeah, it was a bit of a struggle, but in saying that, my hands were not so bad. They were pretty good.
Yeah, wow. And the body work, I mean, I did a bit of physio there on and off for a few sessions, and then had Andrew doing some remedial massage stuff. What was the effect of that? Did that just have you go back up to the bar feeling, obviously lats releases, shoulder releases, pec, the whole lot, thoracic spine, neck. Did that give you a substantial, the times when you're getting that hands-on input, what was that like going to the bar versus the times when you were just flying through those hours solo?
Yeah, I think it was definitely, obviously I think in the first, 8 hours or so, I didn't, because I'd done so many, I was just in cruise, just in flight mode basically for that. But yeah, definitely once I sort of got into the night and after 12, 14 hours, I think honestly, I don't think I would have got there if I didn't have that work, just because, everything just locks up, your back locks up, your lower back locks up, and even just, your legs, just like from just, stretching your
calves.
Yeah, your calves, stretching yourself up to the bar, because the bar's a little bit higher than what you can sort of hang on to. So just everything, even when I was doing it barefoot, I started to get blood blisters on the inside of my big toes, just from stretching myself up and sort of just launching off my big toe. So I started to get it was I thought there was glass on the floor, but it was actually just like a blood blister on the inside of my big toes, just from, because you're doing it, 6 a minute, so you're doing it every single minute, so it's a lot of stretching up to the bar. It's just little things like that.
It's amazing, because I hadn't really, when I was there watching you do it, I'm thinking about what the body would need. I'm breaking it down into those movements. Plantar flexion at the foot, full extension off the big toe, hyper extension in your back to get up there, neck extension to look up to the bar. So it's incredible when you talk about these unaccustomed cumulative loads. It's for me as a physio, it was a real hoot, mate, to be part of it. So thanks for having me along. To be part of something like that's a whole lot of fun. Caine, bicep that gave you some problems in New York, was that at any point in the back of your head? Because you'd upset that bicep.
No, I don't think so. Just because, as I said, I'd just done so many, so I knew. And I think even with me, once I need to get injuries to sort of get stronger in that part. I don't know if that's true or what, but I seem to get an injury. If I get a bad injury or whatever, I'll more likely to injure the other arm or the other shin or whatever before I injure that shin again. So it's once I heal it and I get over it, that sort of that part of my body gets stronger. So that's just how I thought about my bicep. I'd done so many, and if anything, I was getting a sore other arm or a sore. I know my forearms got really sore once in training for about a week or so. So it was other things that were giving me problems. And yeah, once I did that 12 hours of 6 a minute, and I felt really, really good. Yeah, I wasn't sort of worried about it. And if I could do 12 hours and feel like that, then nothing was really going to stop me from, if I passed out or something, then I was going to stop. But yeah, no sort of like a bicep injury, I think wasn't going to stop me from getting the record for sure.
And Caine, did your last rep? What was going through your head on that last couple of reps, which was 4 reps?
Yeah. To be honest, I was done. like I said because I remember when I was in New York, I had Fox Sports actually flew one of my mate who's a producer over, and he was, doing a whole Fox Sport little package for them back home. And when I broke the record in New York, I remember him coming up to me and saying, "Oh, Caine, once you do the record, can you flex your muscles and just give me, a bit of a show just for the camera?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay," sort of thing. So I did it, and I remember, as I broke the record, so I was 7,320 or whatever. So when I did 22 or 23 or whatever on that one, I remember I thought it was Ben, and it actually wasn't. It was Wally, who works in Northcliffe. And I never knew this until Wally sort of came up to me a week later and said, "I don't know why you grabbed me." And I just grabbed him by like the leg or whatever when I was sitting down. I just said, "I'm not doing anything." And I thought it was Ben, and it was actually Wally. And he told me that a week later. He was like, "Yeah, you grabbed me." And I was like, "Did I grab you?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Oh, well, I thought that was Ben." Like I was completely done. So yeah,
Completely delirious.
yeah, completely delirious. And I just did it, and then just put my head down. I just wanted to go home. Basically, I went on a drip and everything, and I probably took 45 minutes, and then honestly, then I was fine. And then I went on the Today Show and did the talk and stuff. But if I didn't do that, like I couldn't speak, couldn't go on the stage, like I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and so you were downstairs at the club, Northcliffe, on the drip. Lots of people sort of buzzing around because everyone was, was on a high because the record had been set. I mean, local radio stations were there, the TV crossing, live cross, mate. So you're 45 minutes in the drip, you actually felt like you could have a conversation again.
Yeah, I definitely. I went from 2% to 90% basically in that 45, and that's legitimately what it was. I was 2%, I think, conscious to 90%. That's how it was, and then I was good after that. That was good. But yeah, as I said, when I actually broke the record, and then I sort of wanted to give myself a little bit of a buffer. So I think I did 300 and so more. But even that 300 or so, like I set a time, and I think I stopped 45 minutes before the 24 hours, and that got me to 7,620, and that was just the time I wanted to go till, and then that was it, and then I was done.
What was the first thing you ate after?
I didn't really have a good day after that, because it was obviously early in the morning. I think we stopped at Alfred's on the way back, and I had a burrito or something like that. But I remember going home, and everyone was just so exhausted, and they said they slept for the whole day and the whole night and stuff. And I actually stayed up. I think I stayed up till about 3 a.m. the next night. So I was up just because I was so sore. I had a shower, and the shower was the most uncomfortable. My hands are all ripped up, so it was the most uncomfortable shower ever. And then I remember just being in bed, and I just had to lie on my back with my hands on my chest, and I was obviously on a pretty big high, so I was had a lot of adrenaline.
Yeah.
But I was just sore. I just couldn't sleep. I was just so sore, and then I was up all day, and I was up until about 3 a.m. the next night. So I was basically up for 48 hours or something, all up. Yeah.
And what was the DOMS, delayed muscle onset, like over the 2 days after the world record?
Yeah, I remember it being 5 days, so I was really sore for 5 days, and then I started to get pretty good after that. Like my inside of my elbows, I think, were really sore. Just couldn't really straighten them and stuff, and just my fingers and my hands were really sore. Yeah, my lats were sore, but I just remember it being my elbows were really just the straightening of my arms, just from obviously having all that weight and pulling yourself up and bending your arms. Yeah, I remember for about 5 days, I couldn't really straighten my arms out.
Wow. And when did the hands start to feel human again?
I think a couple of weeks after, but they heal really quick, and I've got a pretty good little I can't remember what it is, but there's like a cream or a gel you put on, and you just basically put it thick on your hands and then sort of wrap it around in tape and let it overnight, and it's like magic. Like you take the tape off in the morning, and your hands are like half healed. So I remember finding that in New York, so I used that again, and the hands healed up pretty well.
Cool, mate. And any plans to further this record now?
No, absolutely not. Yeah, that was by far, I couldn't even tell you how much harder than what I thought it was going to be. Yeah, it was 3 times probably as hard as what I possibly thought it could be, and that's it.
Would you say it's the hardest physical thing you've ever done?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Like even when I've done golds and stuff like that, I don't know, I've had good races in golds as well, so it would be really hard if you're in the last 200 meters and you got a guy there and you just it's a sprint. That would be very, very hard. But like in this, I've never ever been so close to, just unconscious. Like I was gone. So yeah, I think I just remember it. Like I was like, my whole body was bad. I didn't know if I was just going to start crying or if I was like just going to pass out or what. Like I physically couldn't speak. So like I've never ever been like that before in my life. Like I couldn't speak. Yeah.
You're literally down. There's that whole central governor theory of pushing the human body to the limits where the brain starts to, prioritise the most important bodily functions. So, you do start to lose your cognitive ability to process because no longer is high cognition vital, but what is keeping, the heart ticking and, the key organs in our bodies fed. So, losing things like speech would be one of those non-vitals as your central governance system's actually saying, what, Caine doesn't need this at the moment. He needs to be getting blood to here and here. It's in glucose. It's fascinating, mate. So it's interesting insight from someone that's done some super hard physical things throughout your career. Mate, what's next for Caine Eckstein?
This will be a hard one too. I'm training for the Coast to Coast in February, so that's a 11-hour race. So it'll be interesting to see after that. If that last question's still the same answer. I think I would, unless I pass out in the Coast to Coast. Then I think it's still going to be the hardest thing I've ever done. But yeah, that's an 11-hour race, and it's like got a 70k paddle in there and a 30k run and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to the training that I've already sort of started training, and looking forward to the rest of the training I'm going to do for that, and then testing myself in that in February and see how I go.
And Caine, that's in New Zealand, right?
Yeah, so it's from one side of New Zealand to the other.
So, mate, coast to coast, and then over into some obviously surf racing across the rest of the summer.
Yeah, so we'll finish like the Australian titles, I think, in mid-March, and the coast to coast is sort of 11th of February, I think. So I'll finish with the Australian titles, and doing a few races before the coast to coast. So I'm actually going to Hong Kong in 2 weeks to do a ski race over there, and then just try and sort of like plan a little 3-month patch leading into the coast to coast to try and sort of peak for that. Yeah,
cool, mate. Excellent. And Caine, at the world record evening or day, 24 hours, you launched your 100 club, or it's like a soft launch, if you like, for your 100 club app, exercise app. Can you tell us a little bit about that in closing and where we can find out a bit more about it?
Yeah, so we're actually, it was actually a soft launch, it just didn't get launched on that day.
Okay.
We were meant to
Very
launch
soft.
it. We were meant to launch it, and it would have been perfect on the Today Show, all live and everything, but it just didn't get finished when I did the world record. So, you just pretty much, it's just a 100 club app. It's about doing 100 points a day and having 100 points every day as your little goal. So we're broken down 24 exercises to get your 100 points, and you can either manually choose them or do the recommended workout, follow your friends, you got a profile and all that sort of thing. But so you can download that from the App Store. It's called 100 Club, and then sign up, and you get a profile, and away you go.
And it's 100 as in listeners as in 100
100 club.
Yep. So on the App Store, jump over, check it out. I've checked it out. It's some cool stuff there, and videos of Caine demonstrating some cool exercises. So, mate, also social media, we can find you where?
Just on Instagram and Facebook and everything like that. I think it's just Caine Eckstein.
Caine
Eckstein.
Yep. Well, mate, you're I lost count of how many people have spoken about that event since, and I think you've set the bar. The stratosphere is, into the stratosphere with physical endurance challenges, and the thing that sticks out in my mind is how focused you get. You just get this intensity about you where you're just zeroed in. So, mate, it's impressive to behold, mate. So congratulations, and all the best for these upcoming events.
Cheers, thank you, thanks for having me.
Go get 'em, mate. Listeners, I trust you enjoyed this episode of the Physical Performance Show with Caine Eckstein reviewing his 7,620 pull-ups. Absolutely extraordinary. And to find out through the middle of the evening that you believe the total to be 6,844, and then you need a mere whatever on top of that to smash the world record. What an outstanding effort. And my mind is boggled when I try and conceive of doing that many pull-ups. I've interestingly not long ago installed a pull-up bar outside the very room where I'm recording this at my home here on the Gold Coast, and I think I've pushed out 100 in one day. That's, maybe a set of 15 and then 12 and then whatever else across the whole day. And thinking about getting to that bar and doing 6 a minute for more or less 18 hours before dropping that back to 4. Just absolutely outstanding. So Caine Eckstein, take a bow. Listeners, coming up on the next episode of the Physical Performance Show, you're in for a real treat. The episode features Dane Bird Smith. That's right, the Birdman. If you've watched the Rio Olympic Games this year and you're an Australian, overseas listeners, you may still have caught this story. Dane Birdman Smith is a young Aussie who took the bronze medal in the 20-kilometre race walk. What was amazing about Dane's achievement is that his father is a 2-time race walking Olympian himself and also Dane's coach. In his excitement in trying to get to his son, had an altercation with the Brazilian police and incidentally missed Dane's medal presentation. So quite a story, but not to take that away from the incredible achievement of Dane Birdman Smith. So you're going to really enjoy it. This is a really great young Aussie, and I found myself, as I sat and interviewed Dane live, just so moved by the emotion that he shared. And we all saw that here in Australia if you saw the medal presentation and his reaction at the end of that race, winning bronze. So guys, strap in for next week. Until then, keep pursuing your physical best performance. I'm Brad Beer, and this has been the Physical Performance Show.